Hello! I'm back in a same place, slightly different angle. We start falling down. Watch me. Good. So today I'm doing exercise 5. I have to, number 1, name some different roles in film, and then question 2, which is about future education and opportunities and career pathways into the film industry. Okay, so we're going to start with an actor. That's kind of one that speaks for itself. An actor is responsible for portraying the role of a character that's been written by the screenwriter and is going to be directed by the director. So the actor will come to set, the actor will go through hair and makeup, which in themselves are different jobs, the hair and the makeup side of it and the wardrobe, and they'll go through all of that, and they'll get into their character, do whatever they need to do to get into their character, whether that be because they're a method actor or if they're just simply an improviser. They'll get on set, they'll have learnt their lines, there'll be a read through beforehand, and they'll take in the notes from the director and they'll act the scene. They're there to act, and everyone else kind of works around that with their jobs. They do the lighting, they make the actors look good. Then we're going to look at the role of a director. So in the directing sort of category, there is the director and there's first AD, and then you can have like second ADs and stuff depending on how big your crew is. So I'm just going to explain director and first AD. So director is the person who calls action. The director is the person whose vision is portrayed on the film. The director is in charge of the set. The director is the person who is telling the gaffer what lighting they want, is explaining if a copies of wardrobe or costuming isn't quite right. They have the final say on everything. They're in control. It's their shoot, it's their shot. They have a vision. You can have auteur directors, which have a very similar aesthetic running through all their films, and then you can have your average sort of Hollywood director who directs what they can direct. Okay, and then we have first AD, which is basically, the first AD is the person who is responsible for running the set. They're the person who's making sure everything's running on time, everything's running to schedule, making sure the director is getting the vision that the director wants. Now I'm going to talk about the editing. A movie is made in the edit. The story is put together, the flow, the aesthetic that the director has created, and the action that the actors act, if that makes sense, is all made in the edit. A film isn't going to be good if it's got a shitty edit. The editor is the person who's taking the shot from here, that close-up, that mid-shot, that wide shot, and putting them together to create a narrative, to create a film. So then you'll have a gaffer on set who is in charge of lighting, who's the person who will be running around, switching the lights on, getting the lighting right, figuring out what gels need to be put over the lights to dim the lights or to bring a certain aesthetic out of the lights. The director will tell the gaffer what they want, but the gaffer is the person who has gaffer is the person who has the technical skills to communicate this, to really bring the audience into the world of the film. So there's 3-point lighting, which you have a key light, a fill light, and a backlight, and the director will tell the gaffer what look they want, and the gaffer will use those lights to either have high key lighting, which is like everything, or low key lighting, which is one of them, or two of them, or a weird connection of them, and they will figure that out to get into that mood. Then you'll have a cinematographer, or DOP, who works very close with the director, and it is their sort of skill with camera and aesthetic vision that brings this film, this world that the director specifically wants to create for their film, to life. Usually auteur directors will have a DOP that they work with a lot because they have very similar style, and they are the person who's in charge of the look of the film, of the camera shots, of figuring out which angle the camera needs to be where, and which lens to put on the camera, what's the best focus to have for this shot. And that brings me to the focus puller, which is quite an exciting role, because the role of the focus puller is to literally just shift the focus back and forth in the midst of a take. And that seems like quite a simple job that isn't particularly hard, but it's so hard. My film studies teacher said to us when he was explaining the job, a focus puller is the guy on a set who will always be sweating and running around. If you look on a set and there's a guy sweating, looking really stressed, that's the focus puller, because their job is so crucial, and they get paid a lot for it because it is just switching that. If you get it slightly wrong, the whole thing's screwed up and every single thing has to reset and go for another take. Another job I'm going to talk about is sound. Now, sound is another technical team, and there's lots of different people who work in sound, but I'm going to pick the boom operator. So the boom operator is the person who stands there and they hold the boom mic, but their job, again, seems simple but isn't simple at all. None of these jobs on a film set are simple. They're all so crucial and important in their own right. So the boom operator will hold the boom up, and it's their responsibility to know that script off by heart so they can move the boom so it perfectly gets the right amount of dialogue from each person, and it's crystal clear. And the boom is a really brilliant way of picking up the sound, which can then, if that goes wrong or anything, you can use the little radio mics that are attached to the actors, but that quality cannot be as good as a boom operator. And then the second question in this exercise is about future education and opportunities. You can become a runner, and then you can work your way up through you can be a runner for a certain technical team, and you can work your way up through that technical team, but to get to that point you obviously need to have some qualifications. One of the best things to do is just make and create short films or long films or little home movies. It's just create, so you have this portfolio that you're building up that you can share with people. You can connect with fellow filmmakers through things like BFI courses or online and through platforms, and you can get together and figure things out and build these communities of filmmakers who are very passionate about certain things. You can get apprenticeships, you can do work experience, or you can go and do university courses. So I want to personally go to do some form of film course or film school. The Toronto Film School has some courses that really interest me with the actual practical side of filmmaking, but some more local, within the UK based courses that interest me is St Andrews have a really interesting film studies course, which looks incredibly cool. And is something that I'm probably going to apply for when I start applying for universities. And Glasgow University have an incredibly interesting film and TV studies course, which even further interests me because I'm really interested in the production of TV as well, and that more sort of episodic structure of writing and directing. Research and create. Thank you. I'll see you soon.